Hi everyone, hope you're all safe and well. And would you believe it that 10 years ago today, Disney Infinity was released? And since then, it spawned 2.0 and 3.0 versions. And then sadly, in 2017, Disney gave up, didn't know how to market it, I don't know what they were doing, and they cancelled the game. But the game did not die, because I can tell you that community has been getting stronger and stronger, and I've made some fantastic friends and connections through this game. And to celebrate, a load of creators from all ages are going to be posting clips a day of various levels from this wonderful, absolutely fantastic game. And one of the things in the games is the toy box, and the toy box allows you to create your own various levels. So the level I'm going to work on is the World's End level. Now, a couple of Christmases ago, I did a clip here on this Whirlpool, but I never managed to get any one of these ships to sink down it. And that is what we're going to do today in more ways than one. So I'm going to show you not one, not two, but three different types of games. And can I tell you, these games have been the most fun I've made that I've played with my co-host Ahsoka, which we plan to do another clip. Now, if you think my voice sounds a little bit different, it's because I've invested myself in a little bit of a microphone here, and that's to let you know there are more clips coming. So because it's 10 years, I am now going to, between now and the end of this year, release 10 different levels by the end of the year. That is my goal. And what we're going to do now is going to go and show you one of these levels, but in three different variations. Now, the biggest problem we faced is obviously when I created the moving Whirlpool, it takes a lot of memory up and a lot of processing memory. So the big concern was how many ships could we get on that we could also sink, and the answer is 6. So yes, all those ships that you see here, when we combine them with the Whirlpool, still works and still performs quite well. So as you can see here, I wish I could have a bit more smoke, and I wanted to try and do a bit more waves, but we were pushing the levels there. But you'll see our Pirate Cove that we've got lovely created in the background, and I'll talk a bit about that a bit later on. But we've got all these little ships here, and it still managed to cope with it quite well. Now, we've run this on a PS5, and a PS4 Pro could run this. We did find it struggled a bit and was a bit jumpy on a PS4. So a Pro and a 5 seem to work fine with this particular level, but it is pushing it to its max. So when we start a level, we start inside Skull Island. And the reason for that is one eye, if I go through, nothing happens. So it allows me to come out of the level and change the design of it. If I go through this eye, what it does is it sets all the mechanics in motion. So I've got to create the whirlpool, and it takes a little while for it to create. So I've made sure that the user, the player, couldn't go and start the game until the thing was loaded correctly. So the first bit will set the theme. It looks like a storm is coming. Now when they start climbing up here, you'll now hear the storms and thunder start crackling, and that now is moving all the various pieces to create that whirlpool. So that's all hiding in the background and navigates you through. But also, I wanted to create it to look like a pirate island. So we've got the Pirate Cove, and this was the scene for Christmas with the Joneses. And I will probably put the game marker in a different location, so you have to go through the island to give it enough time to get all the bits in the right place. So that you could then trigger it, because you now see the whirlpool is now complete. We've got a little bit of smoke on there. There would be more smoke, but again, it was trying to hide the fact that the waves were there on the screen. So there's our challenge marker, and we will start our game. Now I'm going to do this as single player, but this would be designed for a 2-player game. Okay, player 1 would start on this ship, and player 2 will start on the other ship. And you'll now see we've just got 2 ships in this one. So in the previous clip I just showed we had 6. But we've got 2 ships, and this one's just a straightforward shoot the targets, and we're going to kill them on the screen. And like I said, I did this actual clip in 2017 called How to Make a Broadside Attack, and I never actually got to sink the ship, but now I've got the Whirlpool backdrop and the ship, and the object of the game here is to shoot all 5 targets. Now, once you've done here is you've won that round. So once you've shot all 5 targets, you've won that round. The ships will then move around the Whirlpool. Okay, and then you've got to do it again. But what we did find is that when the ships move, there was a bug that stopped the cannons from working. So the cannons would freeze and then wouldn't allow me to work. So what we did is I get the system to disable the cannons. Yeah, and when you've got a ship on a path, the cannons will never work, by the way. Unless you've started it when they're fat, they won't work, and you cannot reactivate those on the screen. So what I've done here is I've created a little rule now, is every time the ship's moved, the cannons are reset, which kicks you off. You then have to scroll up to the top, climb up the ship, and you have to jump to the other side. Now you can't make it, but you should just make it, and you'll see there I didn't. Now if I do, there's a little area, trigger area, that will reactivate the cannons. So you'll see here, try again, jump across, I get there, it reactivates the cannons, and I do it. Now, the reason for that, not only does it fix the bug, but it also stops the user being prepared. So it refreshes your points. You have to refocus and re-aim those cannons. Now, once you've won 3 rounds, yeah, so it's the first one to do it, your boat will sink. So in here, it could be my boat that sinks or the other person. So I had to fix it so that the game would be able to sink either ship. The other little tricky bit I had on this one as well is if I'm sinking either ship, when the game ends, I want it to restart and put the ships back together. So it was quite tricky on how I got the paths to move them together. So I used a lot of logic gates to work them out. But you can have different ships going across here. Now the other thing is, depending on how long the game is, I've got a camera just spinning round, constantly going round. And this is why we get a different angle of the ship sinking. But what it does basically is, once the ship sinks, it shares it across both people, so both get to see the ship that sinks. So you can do your own little victory and wind your other player up. But again, it's still a fantastic view with that Whirlpool. So, like I did mention, you're going to see this boat sink a lot of times. And then when the game finishes, it all works out quite nicely. And this is what I quite liked. This is the bit I want to do. I didn't want to then have to reload the game up. So it says I've won. Again, it would be normally a 2-player mode, but I wanted to show the screen. Now, when I come off here, I put a trigger area around these buttons. So as I come out, you'll see there's no boat over there. But as I run across, that now resets the screen and the boats all reappear, and I can just repeat the exact same mission again and do the next level. So it's a great party game and challenge to do so, especially if you're slightly drunk. It's very good. Now, this was my original level. Okay, this is the one I did in 2017. And by the way, this memory was at its max. That's before I did Whirlpool. Okay, and that's the reason why I wanted to do this level again. The reason why I want to tie this up is because when I did this level, and it was the early days, look at the logic that I used for all these target shooting. The logic was mental. And it's the community that I found with this game has been brilliant, because you guys told me, what the hell are you doing? You don't want to do that. You see this logic here? The logic to control those boats, which I used on that previous one. You see all those connections? I don't need to use that because I didn't know anything called this collectible tracker. So all those 4 links there control the entire logic of all the games. And the reason why I wanted to pick this game was, like I was mentioning, it's the community that's helped me. And I have to say, the response with the fans is brilliant. Don't get me wrong, by the way. This is a nightmare. If you're up for a challenge, try and fit up all the pieces. All these pieces construct and create that Whirlpool. And these pieces all move together. Now, if you remember, a few years ago I did a thing called a Q ship. Remember my marble level? Yeah, I was trying to create a circle with bricks. So I created this link. And this was the building blocks that helped me get to creating the Whirlpool. So this is why I wanted to be able to create a circle. Oh, by the way, this was a fun level as well to do. So I was trying to work out how to create a circle, and that's got me these objects, and that's only got about 30 objects. The Whirlpool, like I said, it's nearly 400 different shapes combined, so it really is pushing it. That was a little bit easier to build, but it let me introduce it. But it took me hours to build the Whirlpool. So if you are going to do one of these, best of luck. It does take a while. And I just have to do a quick shout out to the Bowtie guy, who's got a clip being posted today as well. But this was his design for Skull Island, and it just fits so well with my Pirate Cove. I absolutely love this design. I mentioned it in the previous clip a couple of Christmases ago, but it really does set this level off lovely as the backdrop. So he did a fantastic job on that, and that is why this community is so great. The level of games that they create at the moment is just getting higher and higher. Right, anyway, let's get on to our second game. And our second game is a single player game, and it's against the clock, so you could challenge each other. So you remember the horse riding level I did? Well, this one level is a shooting exercise. And what I've got here is I've got these ships all scattered around. Now these ships don't move unless you sink them. And some of these targets you shoot, they will sink. Now, what I basically tried on here is I didn't want it just to be all cannons because it gets a bit boring. So some of those targets are too far away to shoot with a hand pistol, but some you can shoot with a hand pistol. For example, this one here, this one's very close. So we can aim it up here, we can shoot it, and when you do, it will sink the ship because you hit the barrel and it blows up. And some, by the way, still leave the mast up at the end as well. Okay, so you can get these ones across. These are just too far away to shoot, so you can't shoot them. So I've designed as well that you can't shoot on screen, but you can then sink the boats. Now the green ones are slightly different. You notice the rest are all yellow. The green ones, now obviously when you shoot these 5, this boat will actually then go into the spiral and sink. Now the reason for that is, when it starts to go, that will actually block your view on the other target. So you'll see here as I'm going through trying to shoot the boat, I was doing really well up to then. And then, come on, when you shoot this one, this will now start to sink. Oh, went a bit too high there. I thought I was on a roll. Right, come on. Oh, way up. So, got it. Right, that will now fall straight down the hole and stuff. But now I can't get the other ship because the pirate ship gets in the way. So it now is an obstruction and blocking my view and hopefully affecting your time. So the challenge here is you can take it in turns to try and set the fastest time. A bit like my horse riding level that I did. So me and Ahsoka are going to do a couple of clips here, which is one of the reasons why I got a microphone so we can hear her clearly. But we're going to try and do a little bit of mini Pringle competition again. Even my Get the Missus giving it a go, but she is absolutely useless with these games. Now, I advise you when you're playing this game not to watch the boat sink because it's against the clock, but it did not look good. I did say I was going to show this in multiple ways. I do like that, I do it. It would be nice if I could have some splash effects, but they don't exist. And if they did, the memory was blown as well at the time. Now, I've tested this a number of times. I could not get this. I gave up on this in a moment. I kind of trying to shoot this thing is a nightmare. So, we'll come back to that. I think we'll have to come back to... Oh, no, I did get it. That was right. And that sinks that ship. Can I get this one? This should be the same level. Let's give it a go. Come on. I don't think I realised I'm doing against the clock, but it is more of a tutorial to show you what I'm doing. When we do our Pringle challenge, I will try and set a more realistic, professional time. Can't shoot for toffee. Look at that. Yep, I don't think I'm going to get this one. This is. One of the things I was also tested is, you know, when it misses like that, I always panic that the thing had crashed, because sometimes when it crashes, you can't hit the target. But it worked perfectly. It worked really well. One thing we did find, sometimes the cannons they do jam up occasionally, but we've got the reset option built in, and that seemed to resolve the issue as well. I got that one. Now I'll come back to that one in a moment because that's not working. Now when we hit this ship, that ship doesn't sink. It actually goes across and runs the ground. So if you come across here behind us, we've got some targets. So I'm trying to get hold of the whole island, so you shoot targets. We've got this boat here, we can sink this one. And we go up. Now you'll see here, as I jump onto the edge, oops, don't fall off. You'll see there's a little coin there. Now if I shoot the other boat, that will block that one, make it hard to hit. Right, can I shoot it from there? I don't think I can. See, it's just too far away. Can I get it? Yep, can't get it. I should be able to get those two though. And then the far one in the distance is the hardest shot, I think. So these were actually going to be my original, just the 2 games I was going to create. So I've got a shooting game, and then I've got the one where you have to do against the time level. We'll do a challenge. But then it came to the conclusion, well, hold on. What if both of you were trying to shoot the same target at the same time? And that added another dynamic to the game. Because whereas before, the first level, you're on your own ship, so you're just shooting the cannon, that's it. When you're on the same ship, you can start compete against each other. So for that, we did find, as soon as we did that, and you'll show them, I'll show you a gameplay with the 2 of us, it was actually another direct. So I then had to do another one where it was a score based, who shot the most scores would win. So you'll see here, and that will crash the boat. Right, and we go across here, then they got to get the last one, And I've practiced enough here. Let's just get this right. We aimed it right to the top, and we'll delegate first time. Nope, can't even see it. So just a little bit lower. Come on. Got it. Game over. You reset back to the beginning, and you can do it again. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you now the actual two-player challenges. So you're going to see 2 full games now, plus the one with the actual time. But again, just to show you how this works. But it's a bit tricky when it's a split screen. So let's get Ahsoka in. Ahsoka's not going to do a voiceover this time. She'll join us later on the next one because we had to edit most of the swearing, I have to say. Right, so this is a 2-player one. You'll notice we are on the same ship. Yeah. So the screen split, Ahsoka is playing it as thing. Now she hasn't had much practice on here, and the first thing we do, we started annoying the pants of each other before we get the target across. So there's no time limit, and she kicked me straight off the boat, which gave her plenty of time to shoot the close ones. So I'm already 10 points behind. So I get a couple of the others. Right, I did find that when she's pirate, she'd fallen off. We did find with the pirates though, so just give me valuable time. We could shoot them with the guns, which is quite handy. So I got an extra 5 there between her. Now, one of the things we are going to add is that when you jump into the sea, you're going to die. So I think we're going to do a little tweak when we do our competition level. We're going to do it so that when you do that on the screen, you'll if you fall off the boat, you will die and it will respawn you. It'll delay you. Now you'll see there my cannon stopped working. So when I was firing, I was just getting the smoke. So you sometimes just swap them, and that fixed it. Now that we've just got that in time before the boat got in the way. You can also shoot each other, by the way. That will still kill them. That wasn't working. We're both trying to shoot. She wasn't going to do it on the screen. At the moment, you look at the scores. I'm slowly just winning. I've got 3 shots more than Ahsoka has, and the boat's now getting him away. So it's doing its job. It's doing its quite challenge. But I have to say the language between us was hilarious, and I didn't get enough time to edit this all out. So we said, right, we've got the microphone now to get a better recording of Ahsoka so you can hear it clearly. But we will do a more family-friendly clip because it was definitely X-rated. But I've had slightly more advantage. I've been practicing while I've been debugging and testing it. So you'll see us trying to get the characters. Now I came up with a genius plan to stand out and get these targets, and then she comes and kicks me right off the thing. Nearly got me down into the tidal pool. And that's what I quite like. It allowed us to do that challenge. It made it very frantic. So definitely enjoyed this. I then tried to cheat, try to get rid of do it from up here. Again, she was trying to kick me off, and she did. What she wasn't aware was that while she was still too far away, I could sneak up the bottom while she was too busy shooting. I didn't realise I was back on the boat and using the cannon. Or did I go to the end of it? I went to the end of the boat. Oh, I think I then cheated and went, right, I'm running across the water. Oops, nearly went down the Whirlpool. If you go down there, it would be stuck, and the game I would never win it. And how many did I win? I still only just won. I think it's because I got the boat, but that was it was a good game, and I highly recommend it. So that was the 3rd one we've done. So we've got the 2 play against each other. We've got the one. So this is the one where we're against each other on 2 separate boats. So I'm just going to do a full playthrough of this. So we've got this level here where you're against each other. The first thing you have to do is reset your cannons. So you jump up, reset your cannons. Guns are all done, and away you go. And obviously I've also got you a score as well, so every ball that you hit you get points against it. And I have to say, look at that, she flew the first level, absolutely flew on this. So she's run level 1, she's already up, so she's 60, I'm 50, I was 2 off. So we all have to go up, and this is the quiet thing I liked about this level. So you have to run up, you go up, wait till things stop, because obviously it bugs out and doesn't allow you to do it. And then we're going to jump down now. So what we're going to do now on the screen, and this is the cool thing, you jump, land, and it resets your cannons. You have to do that. If you don't reset your cannons, it won't work. Now, on one of the levels, which I couldn't edit because we were trying to record the sound, Ahsoka could not make it across the level, which gave me the time, and it just got loud and screamed. So we will try and put a clean version of it together, but it was very heated. But it's a lot of fun. Now, the other thing I like about this game, let's say, for example, we're having a party and you're having a few drinks. Yeah, say there's 4 of you. Yeah, what you could do is every time you complete a round, you swap over controllers. So it now becomes a party game. Yeah, so you could use this with 4 of you, even 6 of you. So yeah, so you've got 3 aside. So every time you change the round, you do the game now, and every time you miss a round, you can do a drinking session. So Disney Infinity is not just for kids, you know. It can also be used for adults. So I can tell you for a fact, we are going to have some pirate drinking games. I won't record that one. I don't think it will be airable, but. These are the type of games I'm also going to be creating for the rest of the year. So I'm trying to create challenge games where you can play together, because they're very rare many couch games. I mean, at the moment, Ahsoka's lost most of her hours in the Hogwarts Legacy. You know, the biggest selling game of the year. I wonder who created that game. Oh yeah, that's right. The same guys who created Disney Infinity. Surprise, surprise! It was a good game. I had no doubt in that one. It was absolutely fantastic. So, but again, it's a very private game. There's not many games you can sit together and have a laugh, and Disney Infinity allows you to create those type of games. So, I've got a few other ideas coming, so we'll see how those goes. See what you think. But it gets very bad. Well, I've done it 3 rounds. You could do it more. You can just change the number of rounds if you wanted to. And that'll make it work. I was on a roll now on this one, and I just pipped it towards the end. And again, because the camera's always moving, it's always going to be a different view at the end. So it now shares it between both of us. I've got the most scores, so I win. So sadly, her boat gets sunk. And the way I did that, by the way, so in the how I was always going to sink the boat in the other game. The way I've got it going on now is you'll notice it's quite a longer route. So there's only one area that the boat can sink. So as it gets close to the edge, it keeps going round now, and I lock all the gates so they can't stop. But as it gets away, one of those boats will then divert onto this spiral line, so it then moves across, depending on whoever got the other score. Now, the only problem I had with the old version is it used too much memory up, so I couldn't get it to move past, and there was no reason for it to start to sink. So the tornado, the Whirlpool, gives you that type of edge to make it sink, and another version like that. Well, guys, I hope you like that. I don't normally say this though, but it definitely does help. If you like this clip and you've enjoyed it, definitely tick it, because it does definitely help. But I've got some more clips coming. I still play the game, but I'm hoping the 10 different types of levels should be fun. I've got a Tron one coming. What else have I got? I've got my Jakku one, and yes, the Juggernaut one's coming as well. I've got a few other things. The Jakku one is going to use something that Papa H told me, so I'll keep that as a surprise. But they're coming over the next few weeks, so let's see if I can keep that promise. I did promise that I would do a World's End level. I didn't say it was going to take me 2 years to get there, but I got there in the end. But I've loved Disney Infinity. I'm going to keep playing it. I've got multiple backups in case my digital versions ever go, so I'm still going to be pasting these clips because I have so much fun with this game. Please give us your comments. By the way, any other ideas about how we should do this or tweak this, definitely let me know. Cheers for all your support, guys. Thanks for following me, and thanks for one of the best communities I've ever come across. Cheers, guys. I will speak to you soon, and enjoy everybody else's clips. See ya. Bye.